Hello everyone, today we're going to be looking at Zotero. It's a great resource. It helps you keep track of all your research, of your books, your articles, your websites or cases, and it also helps you keep records as you go along and take notes as you go. So rather than maybe working online and working from a notebook or a different Word document, it's handy to have everything all in one place. It also helps you with your referencing when it comes time to your in-text citations and your footnotes. Takes a lot of the heavy lifting out of that. And it helps you back up everything online also as well, which is a great thing as well. If you are working from a different computer, say, as well, you can link to your online Zotero account. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at just basically getting started with Zotero. We're going to set up an online account. Then we are going to download the latest version of Firefox, which is really important, okay? I would say you can use a standalone version on Chrome, or you could also use Safari plugin as well. But from my experience dealing with students, it really is better using Firefox. That's what we support through the library in all our notes, and we do that because in our experience it is much easier, much more intuitive. So I'd encourage you all to use Firefox Mozilla. And the next thing we're going to do then is we're going to download Zotero as a plugin into that browser, Firefox, and we're going to link our Zotero account that we're going to be working on to our online account, so everything's backed up online. So the first thing I will do is I'm going to do that with the online account. Just remember to choose an easy to remember username and password. Look, it's not your bank account details. Use your student number, your date of birth, password, whatever I would advise. And if you can't see the email to activate your Zotero account, you can go and you can check it in your spam folder online, okay, whatever email you're using. So I'm going to show you how to set that up now. We'll just quickly go through those steps. Okay, so you're going to go to zotero.org, then we're going to go and register an online account. I would say choose something very, very simple. Just trying to choose anything here, but choose something like your student number, I would say, and your date of birth, or whatever your password is. It's not going to be something you're going to type in very often. It's something you're going to have just sitting there in the background. Okay, hopefully it's let me do it. Okay, and register. Okay, then it's going to ask you to check. How much did I get that to remember? Okay, you're going to want to do your email validation here. So if you go into your own email inbox, okay, just activate it, confirm. Okay, and we're done. It's as simple as that. So if I was to log in here now, I could see my online account. Now there'll be nothing in it, but that's fine. You don't need to normally log into this. This is to say, this is like the cloud backup for your online account. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to download our version of Firefox. As I say, there are plugins for Safari and Google Chrome, but I would ask you just trust me on this and work with me on it, because it's much simpler as far as we are concerned and all the experience we've had with students using this. So I'd ask you to try using Firefox. Okay, so all you would do is, if you want to download Firefox, if you don't have it already, just go to Firefox Download. Okay, it'll be your first option here. So if you were doing this in Google Chrome, you just go this way as well. Okay, follow the prompts, free download. Now here I'm using an older version, I might update that. Okay, so you just click down, free download. You might need to turn off your browser here and open it up again. You see down here, you'll know you've downloaded it because it'll be an icon like this on your desktop as a shortcut, or it could be down in your toolbar here at the bottom. Okay, now the next thing we're going to want to do is download Zotero onto our Firefox browser. It's simple enough. Sometimes people can be a little worried about installing things. Just accept everything, it's fine, okay? And you'll know that it's done properly because we're going to see this Zotero tab here, okay? So we'll just get to that and have a quick look at that. Alright, so you're going to go back to your Zotero.org website. I'm going to click on download now. I'd ask you to do the Firefox as I say. It's going to know, your browser is going to know if you're on a Mac or if you're on a Windows based PC. Alright, you could do this. I'd prefer you if you do this, okay? I've got my Firefox browser here. This is the one you're most likely to be using. I click on that. I'll just say allow. I have this installed already, but I'm just going to show you so you have an idea. Okay. There we go. Now if I click on install here, it's going to ask me to shut down Firefox and open it again. So basically it's just the old off and on again. Okay, so just click on that. It'll ask me to restart now. Okay, and I'll know I've done it successfully when I reopen it. You'll see your little Z appear up here. If you click on it, there it is. All installed, all done. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do, and we'll have finished with the start of this now. We won't have to do any of these steps again unless you're installing it on a new computer, okay? So the last thing we're going to do is we're just going to link the Zotero on our browser to our online account. So let's just have a look at that now. Okay, so when you want to link to your online account, if you go into your preferences here, so if you hover over it, it says actions, excuse me, your actions button, and I click on that, I'll go down to preferences. I'm going to go into sync. I put in my username, the one I set up there, my password. We'll just leave these sync automatically ones here, and I'll say OK. So that is now linked to my online account, and it's automatically going to back up everything online. If you're a little bit nervous about it, if you want to just make sure, just do a little refresh, you can click on this arrow over here, but it is going to run in the background automatically. Okay, so basically we've gone through the first set of steps. You won't really need to go through them again. That's going to sit working away in the background for you now. In the second part here, we're going to look at inserting records. Alright, I have some little notes here along the way, but I'm just basically going to run through everything with you, okay? We're going to look at putting books in. We're going to look at finding articles in the online databases. We're going to look at bringing in the information on websites and also cases. Okay, so the first thing I'll do then is I'm going to start look at worldcat.org, which will show us how to import records of books. Okay, so I'm going to go to worldcat.org. This is basically a database. You won't get the full text of these books here, but what we're after is the records that we can drop them into Zotero. So I'm just going to look for any book. Okay, so any book that you've been reading that you might be looking to reference at some point. Contract law in Ireland. Okay, so let's say we're looking for this one here. What I would say is it's really important when you're citing that you don't cite a book other than the one you've read, okay? So I'm going to click on view all editions. You're going to choose the one that you've read, really important, okay? So let's say it's this one here that I'm looking for. Click on contract law in Ireland there. Okay, I can close this Zotero down out of the way for the moment. It's still there all the time, but I just want to get it out of my way. Okay, contract law in Ireland, Robert Clark, that's the one I want, 2013, great. Okay, I'm going to click on my Z here so you can see it. Do you see the way this has turned into a book now? I'm going to click on that. I'm going to drop it in. And there it is. Okay, I'm just going to find another one, just find one, Principles of Irish Contract Law. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to click on it. Remember, all editions, we want to choose the one. That's the right one. Okay, 2007, that's what we're looking for. See my Z here, it's still a little notepad or a little folder. It's not what we want yet. We want that to look like a book. So I'll click on it till we get to the last little record. Okay, so it's the only thing on the page. It's this book. And now it's turned into that symbol. So I click on it. And there it is. Okay, so that's how you would do a book. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just carry on and drop a few other little records in here just so that you can see how to do the articles. But I just want to make a note, a really handy thing that you can do. Okay, so if you click on your notes here and you click on add, you might say chapter 2. Because you're going to have to keep track of your pages, so you might say page 10, whatever it is. You could copy and paste in a quote, whatever you like in here, and that's sitting in here now ready for you to look at later. Okay, so it's a very handy thing to have. That's what I meant about keeping all your notes in the one place. If you wanted to do a website, it might be something that just exists, an ebook, or something that just exists solely on the web. Okay, so you find what it is. Okay, look at my Z here. You'll notice this is a web page. So I'll just save it in there. Okay, you'll probably need to change it. You notice here now there's no author, so you'd have to put, say, Delandre's in here. So this isn't a magic wand by any manner or means, but it helps you get things together, you know. And it has the URL there. Okay, so that's saved in there. If I click on that, it'll bring me back to that web page at a later date, so that's really handy. If I want to put a little note in here, and I might want to add something in. I mean, I don't know what you would add in ECTHR. Okay, whatever it might be, that'll find it later. So anything I type up here now later, for example, it'll bring up anything that has it in a note or a title or an abstract that's in there. Okay, so that can be handy for later when you've got a lot of material as you're going forward. It could be really helpful for you there. Okay, another thing that you'll often want to be doing is cases. So what I'm going to do is, now it doesn't work so well with cases like in Westlaw or any of those online databases for law, I'm afraid. So we're going to have to do a little cheat and a workaround. We're going to create our own record here. I'm going to click on New Item. I'm going to go on Case. If you don't see Case there the first time, you just go into More and you'd find it here. Okay, just remember the last thing you've done. That's blank. Okay. You notice the way the books have a book symbol, the websites have what's supposed to be a website symbol, and then we have our scales of justice for our cases. So let's say this is something I want to use later, okay? I just want to show this as an example because you can drag and drop folders and files in, PDFs in, anything you like in there. Just treat it like it's on your Windows, same way you'd handle your files there, drag and drop. Okay, now that's blank, so what I'm going to do is I am going to fill in the case name in here. I could have copied and pasted that in actually, but anyway, we'll go the long way around. And then the next thing I want you to do is I want you to go to Reporter. Okay, it's a little bit of a cheat. It's a funny one, but it does work later, as you'll see when we're doing in-text citations. So I just do that here. I'll just write in what needs to go in. You can copy and paste them in as well, of course, if it comes to it. LRM 99. Okay, so that's there. And look, it's got that little PDF too. If I right click on that, actually I can rename it from the parent metadata. It's a fancy one to do now, but it can be handy later. It keeps everything sort of neat and tidy for you. Okay, I just right clicked, rename from parent metadata, which is this. Okay, so look, there we've got a bunch of things here that we can write notes on, and there's a PDF drag and dropped in there. I do another little note just to say, because I'd like to underline that because that is very handy. So I don't know what you would put in there, but it'd be up to you. Okay. Okay, so we got all of these resources in here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, in the second part, we're going to look at things like how we're going to put this into our Word documents and how we're going to use a Schola. So there's a couple of plugins that we're going to use for that, and we'll move on to that now. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the third part fairly swiftly with you. This is about plugins now. So we'll use a Word plugin, and that'll help you with your in-text citations when you're writing, and also the Schola plugin, because you'll need to do it in the Schola referencing style. And the idea behind these is it's supposed to take the heavy lifting out of your referencing. So hopefully you'll find this a useful tool. I'll just go through what we're going to do here in the slides, and then I'll demonstrate. Okay, the Schola plugin. You're going to go to the same place as you did for when you were syncing your online account to that Actions tab. Okay. The next thing is going to be the Word plugin. We'll do that. Both of these, it just takes a moment to do them for the first time. It can seem a little onerous if you're not sure about doing plugins, but it's a good exercise to do, and it does only take a couple of moments to do, and then you won't have to think about it again. It'll just be sitting there on your computer after that, so you can just work away. Just to make the other point before I move on, editing records. Keep your records tidy. As I say, it's not a magic wand. You do have to keep an eye out for things. Okay, so we're going to install a couple of things, and then we're going to see what they look like. And what I would say to you is just make sure you have your Schola referencing to the side and keep everything tidy as you go along, and it should work very well for you. Okay, so we'll just move on now and have a look at that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to install the Schola plugin. We're going to go back up to actions here. Okay, do you remember that? preferences. This is where we did our sync. I'm going to go into site, and this is where we're going to insert our style, our Schola style, and also our word processor plugin. So I click on styles here. These are all the ones we currently have. If I click on get additional styles, it's going to go and search for some other ones online. There's so many of them here. Okay, I'm just going to put a Schola in. If I just type that in, oops. Okay, there's a couple of versions here. Try both of them. You just put them both in. If you just click on it, you go install. I'm going to click on that, and I go install. There we go. That is as simple as that. That is now in there, and you'll see how that works in a moment. The next thing I want to do, actually we can see it in here now. There they are. Okay, so we're done. Done with that. Just say OK. Go back up here to my preferences. I'm in site. I want to go to word processors. This is the magic bit. Okay, I'm going to get my word processor plugin. Again, it's going to know if you are on a Mac or what kind of version it is. Okay, Word for Windows plugin. That's the one we generally look at. Firefox extension. Okay, there's a Mac there. I'm just going to say allow. See, it looks very much the same. I'm going to say install. And restart now. Generally with anything like this, it's turning it off and on again. Okay, so what I'm going to do in here now is I'm just going to open Word. Okay. And fingers crossed this is going to be installed now. Yay, it is. See, I have my Zotero here. Okay, you won't have that unless you've done steps I've just done. See how simple it is. The first time you do it, it can seem a bit daunting, but look, it's really quick to do. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to add a citation. Let's just say I'm writing away here now. Whatever I'm saying. Okay, I want to cite that. Okay, I add my citation. Okay, it's remember that I want these. Okay, so I just say OK. Now, if I remember the name of it, I could type a section of it in, but if I go into the classic view, I'm going to say I want this book. Now, if you had a page number, you'd put it in here, whatever it might be. Okay, see, you got it there, and at the very bottom, ta-da, there it is. Okay, I think that's great. Okay, and if you were to do it again, next, I'll just say next again, and I'll do insert. Okay, there, and there it is, N1. Okay, if I wanted to change that now, just to show you that this is two different kinds. Okay, you could change it there. Oh, there is that one there. Okay. No, they actually say the same for there. There's no change. The I bit. That's great. That's the one we have there. Okay. All right. The other thing that we might want to put in next is say case. So I'm going to add my citation in here. Classic view. I'm going to put in a case. Oops, I appear to have a typing error in there. So that's 3. Pick it on the end. There it is. Okay. And then at the end, if I want to go to insert a bibliography at the end, cancel, hang on, I want to go down the end to say this is my bibliography down here. I'm going to insert my bibliography. Up. It knows. You still have to do your headings, you still have to put everything else in here, but you see the way it's changed, the way it's written there. Okay, so as I say, it doesn't take all the thinking away from you, but it really does take a lot of the heavy lifting out. You see, it's only put Clark in once, it knows it's twice, it knows what order to put them in, but you would need to change your secondary sources in your cases there as well. Right, so just bear that in mind. Okay, I just want to show you now how it would look the other way. That was without the I bid, just to make that point. So I'm just going to stick I bid in here, whatever. Oh, I bid, whatever. Example. Okay, and I'm just going to go back to my Zotero, add edit citation. Okay, I'm using the top one here. I go OK, and I'm going to use right and right this time. Okay, example 2. Letters. Okay. Oop. Ah, my typing is terrible. Okay. see it here now, it has the I bit, because that's the version I'm using it as opposed to the other one that I used before. Okay, so just to remind you now that we set up that online account in the first place, we've been working within here. We've been clicking on WorldCat for the books, dropping in, creating our blank records for our cases, clicking for our websites. What I would say is, though, it is always good just to double check every so often, is everything backed up online, and we're going to do that now. So I'm already logged in here. I logged in. I'm in my library account. So I'll just log out in it again just to show you what I mean. Log out. Okay, so you just log in here, put in your usual details, and I'm in my library. Okay, click on that, and then everything is in there that I've worked on. Oops, in there. And my notes and whatever are also in there to be viewed. Okay, so that is it. Just actually, the one last thing I'd just like to point out is doing a bit of file management. It's really simple. It's as if you're working on your own computer, really. It's the same situation there, in that you might right click here and do a new collection. So we might just do IT skills. Okay, and then if I go up here, just drag and drop. Drag it and drop it in from one thing to another. Oop. There we go. Hold it over till it's highlighted. Now you'll notice they're still here, they're still loose, that's fine, but there's a copy saved in here as well. So whatever ones I carried through. So there's only one copy of Contact Law in Ireland, but it's just showing up in whatever folder I wanted to show up in. And if I wanted to do another little one under there, do a new sub-collection and just call it, say, maybe if you just wanted to keep things separate for your own mind about what you might be using in an assignment, I don't know, whatever way you want to do it, whatever works best for you. So maybe just drag and drop between things here. Oops. So there's a couple of things in there. So that's it, pretty much. If you want to change the name of that, if you want to, if you've done a spelling error, you want to change it, just double click on it there and just do IT Skills Class, whatever it is. Okay, simple enough. Okay, so that's it for Zotero. There's a lot more things that it can do, but this is just something just to kind of get you orientated and to think about how you can get it working for you. As I say, just to reiterate, keep those records tidy. They are only as good, it is only as good as your records are. But sure, you'd have to keep notes anyway if you're using pen and paper or your Word documents, wherever it is that you're keeping those notes. I just say, why not keep it on Zotero? Say everything's backed up. So whatever way you want to use it, go for it. But do remember that there's extra backup from the library Moodle page and from the staff at the desk. So make sure you make full use of that. Yeah, and just let us know if there's anything we can do for you. Let me know if there's anything I can answer for you on it as well. I hope you get good use out of it as time goes on. If you start using it now, I really think it'll help you in your studies as you go further. Okay, so thanks for your attention, and I will be in touch soon.